Okay. It is time, folks. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the March 2025 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. My name is Kelly Donovan, and I'm the chair of this board. For those of you who have never attended one of our meetings, I'll quickly explain how the meeting is conducted. First, we'll ask the applicant to approach the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and discuss your proposed project or request for variance or interpretation. The floor will then be open to anyone who'd like to speak in favor or against the proposed project. Once everyone's had an opportunity to speak, the public hearing will be officially closed and no new testimony will be taken. After public hearings have been held, the board will deliberate and make a decision on each case. The public is welcome to stay through the deliberations, but again, no public input is permitted unless we ask you for it directly. For those applicants who wish not to stay through the deliberations, planning department staff will be available tomorrow with the board's decisions. The Zoning Board of Appeals is a 5-member board. Tonight we have 4 members, and that constitutes a quorum. I will now call the roll. Ms. Resnetti. Mr. Mazzo.
Present.
Mr. Landers.
Present.
Mr. Donovan is present, and Ms. Mucci is excused. Did you guys get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Any comments, changes? Except as written, could I get a motion? Motion to approve as written.
Second.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. That took 2 minutes. First, we can get this rolling right now because I'm gonna make sure I get these things in order here. All right. First case of the evening is, excuse me for my pronunciation, Arnold Tikashing, 39 Lake Avenue, appeal zoning officer determination for a group of 3 unrelated individuals that do not meet the criteria for a family or functional factual equivalent. Is Arnold present? If you'd come up here and make sure your mic's on, there'll be a green light. There's a little push button. Yeah. This one is picking me up pretty good. Yeah. Okay, pull them each closer to you. Make sure the green light is on, not the yellow amber light. And you got to get it up close to your mouth. And then if you could identify yourself and your address, please.
Arnold Tikasing, resided at 37 Lake Avenue, Binghamton, New York, 13905.
Yeah, with you today.
This is Stephen.
My name is Stephen Engler. I'm Mr. Tikason's property manager for this property and some other properties as well. If I could speak with him, would that be okay?
Okay, yeah, absolutely, it's fine. When you're speaking, please, you got to move it closer and make sure the green light's on and give it a tap for me.
Not working. You gotta hit the button, not the button. Hit the button. It's not working. This one is working, but that one isn't.
Uh-oh, he's got a broken one.
Well, we'll make sure we get it right here.
What'd you do? Break it, Greg?
Yeah, we just switched.
Tap that one. Oh, you guys are gonna have to share then.
Okay.
So if you could describe in your own words what led us to being here.
Okay, this is a
You
two-family.
gotta get it closer.
Okay. The property in question is a 2-family dwelling. Mr. Tikasing occupies half of the dwelling. And there's 3 tenants on a lease that rent the other dwelling. It's a 3-bedroom apartment. We've submitted pictures of the apartment. And the issue is that we're seeking a variance from the 3 unrelated tenant rule, because the tenants are peaceful, they don't bother anyone, and Mr. Tikason would suffer a hardship if he lost one of those tenants, because the other 2 that are there on the lease might not be able to afford to pay the rent and everything would fall apart. It's a 3-bedroom apartment. And we think that the tenants are terrific. They pay the rent. They don't get any outside. They pay the rent on their own. And They don't bother anybody.
There are three tenants.
Three, yes.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
They reside at 39 Lake Avenue. I reside at 37 Lake Avenue.
Okay.
It's two property like in one.
They're connected.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
How long have they been there?
They've been there for probably a year and a half. They're on a
Close to 2
residential
years.
lease that was executed about a year ago. They were month-to-month tenants before then they executed a lease. And they're going to execute a new lease shortly. They pay the utilities.
Kelly, could I say something?
Yeah.
I just want to point out, the applicant said that he's looking for a variance from the family rule. That's not what the application before you is today. The zoning officer made a determination that the occupants of the unit are not a family. And the zoning board has to determine if that determination by the zoning officer was correct or not. So it's not a variance, just to clarify. If they wanted a variance from that rule, they would have to be seeking a variance, a use variance to allow congregate living at this site. But that's not what the application is.
That's an option.
That would be an option. They get a use variance to allow congregate living.
I'm not sure I knew that. Thank you. Any other questions?
So he's not asking for variance, but there's three people living in the same household.
We're looking for an interpretation of, or to decide whether the interpretation of the zoning officer was correct or not. Is it behaving as a family unit currently, or is it not?
That's correct. They have to give you evidence that this group meets the criteria for a family or the equivalent of a family.
Yes, we can.
He could amend his application for it to be a use variance. You would have to table it at that point because we would have to do a legal notice for a use variance, and it's a different application.
We would like to do that if we can.
That may make more sense. How do you guys feel about that?
Yes, we would like to, if there was a slight misunderstanding here, we would like to ask for a use variance if that's what it takes. Yeah. We'll
For
file
our
an
next step.
amended application.
So you could, I guess you could table this or they could withdraw. I do want to point out that the tests for a use variance are challenging. And they would have to prove that this property can't be used as a regular dwelling unit, so they need to do congruent living. So, I just want to give the applicant fair warning on that.
But they'd have to go through posting requirements.
That's
So
fine.
the soonest they could see us again is next month.
Correct.
That's fine.
Or they could try to make the case that this group functions like a family and proceed tonight. So
Are any of these three people related?
No, they're not. We
None of
admit
them
that
are
they're not
related?
related.
Are they students?
No,
I assume there's no children living
No.
there either.
no children. There's just three people on a lease, as there are on many leases in the city of Binghamton, but they're not before, that's not the issue here tonight,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how far we would get going down this road. And it may, what I'm hearing from my other members of the board is better chance of success going down the other road, going
Yes.
towards the other
Well, the use variance.
However, there are challenges, and I would
I understand.
I
We
would
understand.
ask you to work closely with these folks because
We
there's
will.
going to be an element of financial hardship that has to be proven.
Correct.
That is critical to the application.
That's fine.
Okay.
We're willing to do that.
All right, then I would like to make a motion to table this action until we have further action of the applicant towards a use. Yes.
I'm really sorry. I think you do have to open the public hearing because it was noticed.
Okay. All right, like, we can do that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and having discussed the project to some extent and getting a good feel for where it's at. I would like to make a motion to open the public hearing for 39 Lake Ave.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you guys can step aside and anybody else who can come and speak either in favor or against this action we're looking at. Thank you.
Good evening.
Aye.
My name is Mary Jo Gallagher. I own the catering business diagonally across the street from 39 Lake Ave. I've been there for 22 plus years.
Good for you.
We've had several problems with the property across the street. Right now, the main thing is the tarp on the roof keeps getting sucked in my HVAC system. It's such in deep disrepair. The sidewalks are never shoveled. The grass has to be waist high before it's taken care of. The building needs repair. They chopped the downstairs storage room up into what they're talking to make it renting rooms. There's absolutely no off-street parking, one tiny little space. There's no parking on the property. I disagree with this. It's quiet now, but what kind of tenants are you going to bring in the future? This is a nice, quiet neighborhood. We have problems as it is. We don't need chopped up rooming houses. That's my vote. I'm not against families living together, but this has gone too far with the chopping up rooms and getting people in there. I disagree that it's going to hurt his income. He's living fine without extra 3 rooms in a 1-room apartment. Now, that's all I have to say. I'm in total disagreement.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you for coming. Appreciate your input. If you have something to say, you need to come up to the microphone for me.
Question. Is
You
it in
absolutely can.
regard of 39 Lake Avenue, the comment was made. Is
Yeah.
it in regard of 39 Lake Avenue or opposite where she resides, where she lives? Do I want to know? If yeah, but I'm talking of 39 Lake Avenue. Not opposite you.
I think she is talking about. Yeah, she's talking about your property at 39 Lake Ave. Yes.
I did not,
So in the meantime, I would ask you also to take a look at the concerns that were expressed by your neighbor about the tarp on the roof and whatnot, and be prepared to discuss that as well. Next, when you come back.
See. Have the tarp. on.
Excuse me. Are you done?
yes.
Okay. If you're done, that's fine.
Okay.
Oh, did you have something yet? Come on over.
Just like to add that this is not a chopped up 1-room apartment. It's been a 3-bedroom apartment for a long time. It's a very large 3-bedroom apartment. It hasn't been modified of any sort. We submitted pictures. It's not a rooming house. And it's absolutely not a chopped up 1-room apartment. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't, yeah.
Well, I don't see any pictures. I didn't
We
with the
submitted pictures.
application.
We
Make sure,
we submitted pictures, yeah.
okay.
Is it like a
But I-
duplex? Can you
It's a
describe?
Yes, a duplex, yes. It's a
Okay,
Duplex,
so
yeah.
there's
Living
two
room, dining room,
distinct-
3 bedrooms, yes.
But we have the measurements and the bedrooms seem a reasonable size.
Yeah.
Not overly large, but one of them is quite comfortable.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone else wishing to speak in favor or against the proposed project? Or interpretation of project? Okay, seeing no one, I would make a motion to close the public hearing for 39 Lake Ave. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This is the point where we normally get to deliberation. But in our earlier conversation, we discussed the likelihood that the applicant's going to change this to a use variance application. So in leading up to that, I would make a motion to table this action for the time being. Could I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See you next month. Make sure you get all your homework done. Second case of the evening is 113 Bevere Street, Pritchard Development Corporation. Area variance for a 5-foot rear setback where 25 feet is the minimum requirement for the I3 heavy industrial zoning district.
Good evening. Brett Pritchard, Pritchard Development Corp., 618 Conklin Road, and we're here for the 5-foot variance for the property.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
What can you tell us about it that we need to know?
So we did a couple test fits on the property. It's for a towing company, Value Towing. It's going to go there, put a new facility up. Right now, it's a dirt lot. So he's owned the property for a while. He's going to get into the city for towing. And so we did a couple test fits to see which way with the circulation would work the best in and out of the property. And really the only way to do it was to push the building back. On the planning board side, they wanted us to put some extra trees in the front, landscaping buffer on the east side of the property. So with doing that and then getting the proper safe circulation for him to pull the trucks in and out of there, we felt the best way to do it was to push the building all the way to the back, you know, within about 5 foot of the back property line.
So I take it you've been to the planning commission already?
Correct. Yep. I mean, everything, they were approved with everything there, obviously.
So this
depending on-
month or last month?
That was last week. They approved the site plan subject to, of course, you guys being okay with the
Subject to
variance.
5-foot setback, okay. Well, that makes our approach very much straightforward. I did notice a bunch of comments in the staff comments. Should I mention any of those or? I think you've addressed some of them. I am assuming that this is fenced all the way around.
Correct.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the comments now. The screening of the impoundment area they did.
That's taken care of.
Yes.
Okay.
But they fixed the issue with the parking being in front of the building by not putting any actual parking spots up there. They added the landscaping and they submitted a preliminary urban runoff reduction plan.
Okay, okay. Thank you for answering those questions for me. Any questions for the applicant?
No. We've approved things like this before too.
We have. But I just want to make sure we, you know, we got the applicant here, we can ask questions and is Value elsewhere currently?
Correct. They're in Owego right now is where their home office is.
So you're adding, they're adding a site?
Yep. Yep. They're at another facility and then they'll add, I think, 3 jobs, you know, with. And the trucks will all be stored inside, you know.
The entrances are okay with traffic? Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
At this point, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing for 113 Bevere site. Could I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. Anyone present wishing to speak in favor or against the proposed project, please step forward. Anybody online leave a message or anything? Is he listening to us up there? Any call-ins? No, okay. Then I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing for 113 Bevere. Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that gets us to the deliberations. And actually a couple of things first. I would like to note that this is an unlisted action. I would like to make a motion that ZBA be lead agency for seeker.
I'm very sorry to interrupt. That may be the chart from the planning commission staff report, but this being just a setback variance is a type 2 action, does not require seeker.
Okay. I will amend my being lead agency for a seeker to being lead agency for a non-listed or an unlisted action. Since I started down that road, can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I don't need to go through that. I just need to go through the criteria. You are the
I lost
best.
everything on my phone.
And none of these have the criteria on. them. Do they? So we're talking an area variance so that we have to determine if one thing is it self-created. Did you look at options? Is it going to affect the character of the neighborhood? What else? You're testing my memory and I haven't been here for a few months. You're the best. Okay, we have to determine if allowing this variance leads to an undesirable change in the neighborhood. Was there a reasonable alternative to the 5-foot setback? Is it a substantial request? Does it have an adverse impact on the environmental conditions in the neighborhood? Or was it self-created? So is it an undesirable change to grant the 5-foot setback?
I don't believe so. I mean, it's in an industrial area.
I would
We
argue
agree.
that there are an awful lot of properties that already are set up that way.
Yeah.
I would imagine within the block, you can
Yeah.
find a number of them. So the undesirable nature of that change, I don't think is that great. Was there a reasonable alternative? As stated by the applicant, they looked at positioning of the building. They needed a certain size building to fit in the parcel. Short of going to another spot, I'm not sure there really is a reasonable alternative. They lose flow if they put it further to the south. Any other comments?
No, I
No.
agree.
Okay. Is it a substantial request going from 20 feet down to 5 feet? You could argue that it is, but you could also argue that it's very common, even less than 5 feet in the neighborhood. And we have definitely made these kind of calls in the past. Okay.
I agree.
Is it an adverse impact to the environmental conditions? No, considering they're looking at all the other site related impacts, the water runoff, all that kind of stuff. And taking this from a vacant lot to a productive, maintained, secure space. I think it's an improvement on the physical condition.
I think so too. I mean, they're also putting in their green spaces,
Yeah.
other trees, make it decorative a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever enough trees, but I appreciate the effort.
Yep.
And was it self-created? Yeah, to some extent, I'm sure. And thank you very much for taking the effort to look into the space. John, are we done with
Yeah,
the discussion here?
I'd like to make a motion to approve 113 Bavera Street for an area variance for a 5-foot rear setback where 25 foot is the minimum requirement in a 1-3 heavy industrial zoning district.
I 3. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you're on to the next step. Thank you very much. And that concludes our business day here. Do we have any other business? Anything? Nothing? Okay, then I have a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye. All done. Thank you.